Hello and welcome to take 6 of this coping vlog. So, as you can see, I look like shite. I've been feeling like that as well. And this is all about helping you with concrete tools to get out of and prevent any ruts that you may find yourself in, because we all do. So, if you're in a really good place right now and you're looking for something else, feel free to skip this, but I do recommend making sure that you have a lot of tools at your disposal that you've also practiced a lot and that you have really drilled, so that when you find yourself in a state of emergency, you can just go through them automatically and effortlessly. That's really important. Just the way that a stewardess will show you the emergency procedure on an airplane to keep it fresh in your mind and make sure that you visually rehearsed it, so that when you're all panicking, you can still remember what to do, right? Okay, so I'm gonna be going through this old Instagram story of mine. It's in my highlight called Tools. It's from about a year ago, and yeah, it was one of those days, and I decided to apply everything that I could think of and document it. So I think it came out a bit disorganized, but it's still a very useful collection that I'm gonna go through to help myself. So thanks, past Johar. The hair was even worse. That already makes me feel better about myself. Yeah, and it's been a couple hours now that I've already been working on feeling better again. So this is already way better than I woke up. Yeah, let's talk about it as we go. And I'm gonna try to keep it short and summarize whatever I'm seeing on the screen rather than listening to the whole thing. There's no point in that. So first thing I talk about is amulets and uniforms, which is another way of saying psychological anchors for states. If none of that means anything to you, let me explain. I used to wear a white shirt whenever I wanted to get into a constructive or professional mood, and just putting on the white shirt and buttoning it up would tell my brain, now it's time for this. And this is something that's very founded in actual psychology and really works. And you can listen to Todd Herman talk to Tom Bilyeu about it in their episode of Impact Theory, which was amazing. I think the video has a stupid name that is completely unrelated, but it was an amazing conversation where Todd really goes into how powerful these types of anchors can be and how many he uses in different ways, and how, yeah, just amazing there. Okay, so I stopped using the shirt, but I do notice myself having that in different ways at all times. So sometimes it's just opening my laptop, and that's enough. Recently it's been putting this thing into my hair that holds it away from my face, and then I feel like, oh, I'm ready to go. You know, it could be anything. Maybe for you it's a ring, maybe it's a certain sequence, like you put on your tea and you put on music and then you know it's time to go. But we are very associative creatures. And stimulants, of course, coffee or whatever you prefer. You have to be careful with that. I've been on a caffeine detox and I wanted to keep it going, but I also accepted today, okay, if I don't have some sort of chemical stimulation, I'm not going to be able to break out of this really gloomy state. So you have to really know yourself with that. Know your both limits, you know, the upper one and the lower one. When do I really need it, and when is it too much and I should probably do without it? Okay, next point. Sugar, blood sugar. I've been having a lot of blood sugar peaks because I've been emotionally consuming sugary chocolate, which the only stupid thing about that is the sugary part. If I'd been emotionally consuming pure cocoa, that would have been fine. But anything that spikes your blood sugar will give you a low as well. And it's actually harmful for your brain and your cells in the long run. It's one of the reasons why people age more or perform less, or both. So the more constant you can keep your blood sugar, the better it is, both for your actual health and for your performance and your mood and your happiness. That's one of the reasons I do interval fasting, and I am so careful with my diet and try to have a high-fat, low-carb, low-sugar diet. So, silly me, messed that up. I'm gonna try to get better now. Taoist sexuality principles suggest, it's very binary, I'm sorry about this, but they suggest that everyone should experience as much sexual stimulation as possible. However, men should avoid, I hope it's okay for me to say this on this video. Yeah, well, I mean, it's science, right? So even if you're a kid, I'm sorry about this is just biology. Adult males are capable of ejaculation, and they should avoid that because, well, the way Taoists explain it is a loss of energy, which is quite spiritual. You can also explain it as a loss of chemistry and nutrients and like biological energy that costs to produce that. So women should supposedly orgasm as much as possible, men should try to orgasm without that, if possible. And if not, then just not at all. And so that's really interesting to play around with. I highly recommend it to anyone who identifies as one of the two, close to one of the two binary extremes, I guess, with their body. And that's a kind of way to have an influence on your energy levels. And then also the other way around, pay attention to what your sexuality is feeling like on its own, because that can be a super powerful indicator of how you're doing. So mine was just really unpredictable and unusual recently, and I should have seen that as a red flag that it was. Vitamins, minerals, and supplements. Yeah, so this morning I realized I'm malnourished and I didn't have my A to Z minerals here, so what I did was, what I thought was the next best thing was to have a big fat dose of omega-3 for my brain and a couple other things. But yeah, we all need to, nowadays I think it's really hard to actually eat in such a way that you're getting everything that you need. So I always recommend eat well and supplement. But if you can't do both, then at least do one of the two. And I haven't been doing either, so that was really stupid. And intermittent fasting, as I said, can be really helpful because of blood sugar and also helping your body deal with positive and negative fat. So burning the negatives and creating the positives. There's different types of fat. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Music. If you're a musician, one of the best things you can do is go and play anything. If it's creative, even better. That's why I normally prefer jazz for this sort of scenario. If you're not a musician, go listen to music. Most people really enjoy music and benefit from it. Not everyone, actually. Some people just don't like music. Fun fact. Maybe avoid sad songs or depressive music unless you feel like there's something stuck and you want to get yourself to a catharsis so you can cry it out and create flow again. Then that's a really good plan. Yeah, so you know yourself best. And if you're just not into music at all right now, then you can do something with your hands, like knitting or crafting or drawing, or something else that stimulates your brain in an abstract, complex, positive sort of way, like Sudokus, mathematics, chess, or a foreign language, if you're more the linguist type, or reading, or trying to write a poem, even if you feel really uninspired. All right, what else? Embodiment. Do something nice for your body. Have a hot shower, bath, put on nice clothes, cuddle up, have a hot drink, all that sort of thing. Stretch, do yoga. Really, ooh, my knees just clicked. So, yeah, get back into your body and out of your head. Speaking of getting out of your head, something that I don't think I mentioned here is writing down thoughts in any form, whether it's journaling, writing a proper piece, scribbling something down in bullet points. This can all really, really help to stop your negative train of thought and have it out of your head. It literally feels like when Dumbledore does the thing and it's no longer in your head, but it's out there and you can look at it. It's really, really, really helpful. Right. Yeah, do something nice. And then the last point I want to talk about, because otherwise it's going to be too long, is motivation and responsibility. I'm going to leave that till last. But environment is also really important. So if you have some control over your environment, try to make it orderly or in some way pleasant for you, and that will give you a feeling of control and will help your mental clarity, because in some way our brain seems to mirror objects outside of it. So if you can organize objects, it will help to organize your mind. That's a really cool effect. That's also one of the reasons why I really loved doing maths in school, and I feel really sorry that I don't have maths in my life right now, but it'll come back when I get back into tech. If you're into programming, that's amazing. Programming is so therapeutic, except for when you get stuck and then you go crazy, but yeah. Obviously gratitude and feeling love, that's also really, really useful, and I think that's about it. Okay, so going back to the last point, it could be that you're feeling burnt out and depressed because you're being squashed down by responsibility, in which case try to forget it for now. It could also be, however, that you are, as we say in Spanish, drowning in a cup of water. So you're like exponentiating your problems and having this very narrow-minded view of what's problematic and what's overwhelming. So sometimes in that case it can help to level up and remember everything that you're responsible for, everything that you're building and working towards, and having this bird's eye view, so that you realize like, oh, it's not the end of the world that this or this or this is happening. that's just a cup of water in comparison to the ocean that I'm experiencing, that has a lot of good and bad things, and that makes sense as a whole. You know, maybe I'm struggling right now because I'm climbing up a mountain and I'm working towards something really nice. So yeah, remembering that all things must pass, will pass, sorry, wrong wording. So just remember right now that the bad things will pass. Don't get worked up about the good things passing. And yeah, especially if you're a giver, then waking up this sense of responsibility towards others can be helpful. Again, as long as you're not putting yourself under unnecessary external pressure. All right, I hope that helped you. It certainly helped me to review all of this. I feel a lot more empowered now. My skin probably still looks awful, and the sky is now stormy again instead of blue. However, I'm ready to go. And I'm gonna go start my day at freaking almost 2 p.m. Wow. But yeah, also if you need someone to talk to, I'm always here. I genuinely do reply to messages, so just hit me up. And I can also really recommend BetterHelp if you're looking for professional help, which is always a good idea to look for professional help. Either get a coach if you feel like you're strong enough and just want to work on present and future topics, or if you feel like you're really struggling or you might have something in terms of mental health, then definitely get a therapist. And for that I can recommend BetterHelp. I'll leave my affiliate link below so we can both benefit from a free week. I would also be really grateful for you, but yeah, especially just want to help. All right, really take care, and I'll see you in the next one.